Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Crypto Warehouse. My name is Mike. It is 11 a.m. on, is it May the 27th today already? 3 or 4 days left before we get to June. Unbelievable. Doesn't time fly? So, good morning, everybody. Good morning to everybody in chat. I hope you're all enjoying. I believe it is a bank holiday weekend in most parts of the world. I hope you're enjoying your bank holiday weekend. We are going to be having a barbecue, hopefully, today. So I shall be stuffed full of meat later on. Anyway, what have we got to go through today? We have a mixed bag of news today. We're going through what Donald Trump has had to say about crypto. We're going to go and have a look at what Strike have said about Bitcoin, the ETH upgrade planned for 2025, Ondo and what Ondo looks like and what could Ondo get to, alt season, what is happening with the alt season according to Charles. Then we're going to have a look at some ETF comparisons. So a few weeks ago, people were saying we're only going to have 2 ETFs. We're not going to have any more. And what I said we would do is have a look at other ETFs. So what I've managed to find is a list of commodity ETFs, because remember, crypto is now potentially going to be classified as a commodity rather than a security. So we're going to have a look at that as well, and give you some ideas of where we would rank some of our cryptos compared to other commodity ETFs. That's pretty much it for the show. Of course, we're going to go through the prices. Of course, we're going to go through some X files, the usual things we're going to do. So although it's a bank holiday weekend, it's still the same packed show as normal. Good morning, JC. Good morning, Kabir. You were away for a road trip this weekend, Kabir. Where did you go? Anywhere nice? I hope you went and enjoyed yourself. Right, let's get on with the markets then. So market cap is up, believe it or not, up 2.57 trillion. Volume not too bad for a Monday morning. Remember, weekends, Kabir goes away, the traders go away. So volume over the weekend, last 24 hours, 68 billion. Bitcoin dominance has fallen 52.5. ETH dominance is starting to crank up 18.3. Remember, at its peak in the last 6 months, I can remember it touching 20%. So ETH dominance has a long way to go. Bitcoin price is 68.6. Ethereum 3,900. I'm pretty much certain we're going to hit $4,000 on Ethereum this week. Pretty certain, especially if we get the news this week or next when the ETF is going to go live, when are the S1s going to be handed in. That could hit $4,000. And remember, people are calling for a $5,000 or $6,000 Ethereum by the time the ETF goes live. That is no, it's not a 50% move. Yeah, it is a 50% move from here. So that would give us a $700 billion market cap for Ethereum straight off the bat. Right then, let's have a look at the gainers and the losers. Jasmy is up 26% in the last 24 hours. Floki, Pepe, and Bonk, the memes are ripping. ENS is up a touch. Expect to see everything Ethereum related do well, including Starknet, including Lido. That's done incredibly well. Arbitrum is up as well. Dog with Hat. The memes are going. The layer 2s are going. It's a good time to be in Ethereum. And losers, Ondo is down a touch, which I'm glad about. I am glad Ondo is down. Excuse me. I'm going to be sneezing an awful lot over the next couple of months. I have hay fever this year. So Ondo is down. Core is down. EOS is down. NEAR is down. NEAR, good price. Under $8 for me is a good price. Ondo, I would love to see the sub $1 Ondo, because if we go anywhere near $1 on Ondo, I am getting in. That is what I want. Akash, Gnosis, Dogecoin is down a touch. Not too many. Uniswap is down. So that's pretty much the markets. Remember, one thing I have not mentioned today is bottom left-hand corner, just under 133,000 followers. So if you've not followed us before, make sure you smash the like button, the follow button, the love heart button, whatever buttons you've got. Press those buttons. $74,000. We've had that target for a while. Since we came down to 60,000, maybe 58,000, I've still got my $74,000 target. And Bonnie Donnie, that is the theme of the show today. Bonnie Donnie. What could that possibly mean? Well, I'm going to tell you now. Let's see which article. I don't know the order of the X-Files today. These are snippets from around the interwebs that don't really warrant a full article. So we'll go through these. This is it. So, Donald Trump has said the following words. I will ensure that the future of crypto and Bitcoin will be made in the USA. I will support the right to self-custody to the nation's 50 million crypto holders. That is what he said. So Bonnie Donnie is Happy Donald. There you go, Bonnie Donnie. I'm not Scottish, by the way. It just rhymed. So there you go. Donald Trump has come out and said that we are going to be, if he wins, we're going to be seeing a massive shift in the government in America. We have got an article about that one. However, I did dig out an article because that is going to be the headline of the show today. What else do we have? Bitcoin. Whales have been buying like never before. I say it all the time. I'm not going to stop saying it. I sound like a stuck record. If you hold Bitcoin, do not sell, not financial advice, do not sell your Bitcoin. The whales are accumulating. The price is not going to be $69,000 for much longer. If it goes to 65 or 61,000 and your dollar cost averaging in, don't let them shake you out. We're going to have, and we have had, a very volatile 4 to 6 weeks. They're trying to get you out. And look who's buying. The whales are buying. People with money are buying. You sit there and you look at rich people and you think, how did they get rich? How did they get that wealth? How did they accumulate that wealth? They got there by having conviction and sticking to their guns. And getting rid of you is one of the things that whales are going to try and do over the next couple of weeks. If we get the ETF news, we're going to rip. Bitcoin is going to go with it. Bitcoin is going to go anyway. The scary graph that I've seen this weekend that I haven't managed to include in the show is I've talked a lot about the Bitcoin supply on exchanges falling. The Ethereum supply on exchanges is even worse. We're going to run out of Ethereum. And remember, Ethereum is more deflationary than Bitcoin. There's only 120, 119 million Ethereum. That's it. It's gone. So we're going to see two supply shocks now in crypto in the next couple of years. The Bitcoin supply shock and the Ethereum supply shock. That is going to rip both of them. Not just one of them. They are going to both rip. Now then, Polygon Proof of Stake has recorded more than 1 million daily active addresses for 65 consecutive days. And this coin is only at 70 cents. The biggest layer 2 on Ethereum. I can't tell you what to do, but look at what is happening. We're getting an Ethereum ETF. The biggest layer 2 on Ethereum is struggling price-wise. It has 1 million daily active users for 65 days. That is a lot for crypto. The numbers don't add up. Think about that. The numbers don't add up. So what is going to happen to Polygon in the near future? Arbitrum, Optimism are ripping. Startnet, all those others are ripping. Polygon, don't fade Polygon. Now then, for those of you that took part in the Jupiter vote, the one that we went for, the Team Crypto Warehouse. Team Crypto Warehouse voted for DeBridge Finance and it won the vote. I think it got 59% of the votes. I was going to say 60%. 59% of the votes went to DeBridge Finance. I think in our own little way we contributed to that, and I think that was the right choice. The three choices were an art exchange, a gambling, a website that had no KYC but for gambling, and that. And for me, that was really the most valuable project. The gambling one is here and there. Lots of people don't agree with it. It's against people's religions. I don't think a gambling site without KYC or a license is going to last very long anyway. So that didn't win. And the art exchange was for independent artists. I didn't think that was going to do very well either. Now then, Saylor has done. What is going on? Saylor has done. Just give me 1 second. There appears to be a bug. 1 sec. Give me 1 minute. One of our streams has just gone off for no reason. Okay, sorry, I just had to report that. So Michael Saylor has done a 180. And even though he has swore blind that there was never going to be an Ethereum ETF, it wasn't going to get approved, there he is, cold as brass, bold as brass, should I say, saying how it's a good thing for Bitcoin. And of course, you can never say never, but he's done a 180. I do expect him to buy into the Ethereum ETF. I think it is going to happen. Right, let's move on very quickly then. Let's see where we are. Now, we're going to go over the Donald Trump news, and then we're going to get in. We've got a couple of charts today. So the charts we're going to look at today, we're going to look at the Bitcoin chart, always. We've got the Ethereum chart. We've got the Ethereum and the Ethereum Bitcoin chart. We're going to have a look at Ondo. That's another chart we're going to look at. And then, of course, we've got the charts on the commodities. Kabir, thank you for letting me know about that. Popcat, I'm going to go and have a look at it. Have a look at that for you. Well, for us. What we're going to do with any airdrops in the future, we're going to try and announce them in advance. Now, the Dog with Riz airdrop, which happened on Saturday, I got mine. I don't know who else got yours. But we believe, and by we, me and a couple of people online, that it was actually rugged. Now, I don't understand why they would rug a free airdrop, but there you go. Maybe it didn't hit the market cap they expected, whatever it might be. So if we ever tell you about an airdrop, just take up the airdrop. Don't go else. Don't go into the coin. Don't go and buy the coin. Just collect the airdrop. That's how you should play this game. Now then, what I will do with that, Kabir, after the show, I'll go and check out the airdrop, and if it's valid or if it looks legitimate, I will make a video about it. So Donald Trump declares the US must not settle for second place in crypto industry. Former US president claims he's very open-minded to all things related to this new and burgeoning industry. His words, I believe. Our country must be the leader in the field. There is no second place. I am very positive and open-minded about the cryptocurrency industries, he claimed before taking aim at Joe Biden, who he said, crooked Joe Biden, on the other hand, the worst president in the history of our country, wants it to die a slow and painful death. That will never happen with me. Now, bear in mind, if there are 50 million Americans who own crypto, then this is clearly a vote winner. Why would it not? You've got 50 million people. What's that? Population of the USA, 350 million. So 1 in 7 people hold crypto. Donald Trump has just come out and said that he is going to defend it. There is potentially another 10 million votes for Donald Trump. So as far as he can see, there's no second place. You have got... I mean, he's going to win. I mean, there's lots of people trying to be very neutral about this and not saying that it's, he's going to win. But I mean, I'm not in America. I can say what I want within reason. It's clear as day. He is miles ahead in the polls. He's 10, 12 points ahead in the polls. He's going to win. Before I was saying, it could be Robert Kennedy. Robert Kennedy is now standing as an independent, or not as an independent, as the Libertarian. I think it's the Libertarian Party. You've got the Democrats, you've got the Republicans. I mean, it's not even a race anymore. He's won. So Donald Trump is going to become the next president of America. He's going to be very pro-crypto. He's won the vote. If all American companies are allowed to interact with crypto, The tax benefits to America are going to be huge. If everybody goes and creates their crypto companies in America, it's just going to suck all of crypto towards America. So Trump has a 56% chance of winning the election, while President holds a 38%. What is this nonsense? So Trump has just over a 50% chance of winning. And Biden, no, I think the way you should read that is that 56% of people will vote for Trump and 38% of people will vote for Biden. I think that is what they are talking about. No, it's nonsense. It's absolutely nonsense. And Michelle Obama is not 3% and Robert Kennedy is not 2%. Utter nonsense. You can see the writing on the wall with this. Now, let's go and have a look at what crypto people have had to say about crypto. And I believe this is another person from Strike. This is the CEO, this time saying that Bitcoin at $1 million, this cycle, we're still so early in the story. Again, these are the headlines that you need to be careful of. We're going to see them every single week between now and the end of next year. And I need to drill into you that these are fake narratives. This is not going to happen. $1 million for Bitcoin is not going to happen. We are a cycle or two away from this, and a cycle is 4 years. So we're at least, and that's from the end of this cycle, by the way. So we are looking at 2030, 2034, probably 2034 before this even happens. That's 10 years away. Don't listen to people. You're going to see it for every cryptocurrency. Solana to $5,000, Ethereum to $100,000. We're going to be covering those stories because it acts as a warning, if you like. And you cannot fall for these narratives because they just don't work. So, are we going to see $1 million this cycle? Absolutely not. But we are still early in the story. I will agree with that. Trump does not always stick to his words. Well, he's already talked about that Ross Ulbricht guy, the one who ran that dark web website. He said he was going to release him. He did say in his last election, when he won in what year did he win? 2016. When he won in 2016, he said he was going to put Hillary behind bars. He said he was going to do X, Y, or Z. There are a lot of things he says that he doesn't stick to, but I think he's going to win. And one of the major reasons he's going to win is going to be crypto. If Bitcoin gets a $1 million market cap, the market cap is going to be, I think, almost that of gold. I think the $1 million narrative comes from Bitcoin having the market cap of gold. I think we're there. I think that's about right. It's near that number. Now, Cathie Wood has said $2.8 million for Bitcoin. This says $1 million. It's just dangling the wrong thing in front of retail, because as Bitcoin goes higher, more retail will come in and they'll read these headlines, and that's what's dangerous. And that's why I always pick out these articles that tell you buy this for 100x, buy this for 200x, because it's all BS. Litecoin is going to 200x this year. Bonk is going to 200x this year. No, they're not, because the market cap of that cryptocurrency would be bigger than Bitcoin's at that price. $600 XRP, never going to happen. Never going to happen. $1 million Bitcoin, not going to happen for at least 1 or 2 more cycles. And that's the issue. We've got $68,000 Bitcoin, and we've got a $1.3 trillion market cap. If we 3x the market cap of crypto, which I think is possible, then we would be looking at roughly $200,000 Bitcoin. So what they're saying is 5 times my prediction. And that means 5 times the market cap of where we could go if we're going to go from my top. If we're going to go from here, what's this? Is this a 15x? So we would be looking at a $20 trillion market cap. It's just not going to happen, is it? In a recent podcast with Anthony Popliano on his YouTube channel, He doubled down on Bitcoin, reaching 1 million per coin in the current market cycle. We're still so early. I think Bitcoin will hit two. I mean, what kind of nonsense is this? What kind of nonsense is that? We will hit $250 to $1 million this cycle. That's like me saying Manchester United are going to finish between 1st and 15th next season. Am I going to be right? Pretty much. They're not going to get relegated. So will I then claim that I got the price of Bitcoin right? He's given an absolutely nonsense target. I mean, some people, why didn't the guy pick him up on that? The difference between 250,000 and 1 million in terms of market cap is about 10 trillion. It's just nonsense. These people just sprout nonsense. They're like the old snake oil sellers from the 1800s that sell you things that are going to cure your ails, and it's just cod liver oil mixed with sand. It's just utter nonsense. Bitcoin is a superior form of money, he argues. Its cap supply makes its resistance to inflation, unlike fiat currencies. He predicts 1 million per coin is driven by increasing adoption by Wall Street. He reiterated Bitcoin's role as a hedge against inflation. Absolute nonsense. What a load of rubbish. He's also stressed the significance of the Lightning Network, which is true, and that will help with transactions. Yes, Lightning Network is a benefit, but Lightning Network is not Bitcoin. Some view Bitcoin as a speculative bubble. However, he countered this perception by advocating for it as the optimal safeguard against an impending financial crisis. Again, I agree with that, except that that's not how the markets currently view Bitcoin. Bitcoin is seen as a risk-on asset. Gold is seen as a risk-off asset. So if there is a conflict in the world, people will buy gold. What we want is to get to a stage where if there is a conflict or a pandemic, people will buy Bitcoin and not gold. Mal has highlighted the increasing acceptance of Bitcoin. Yeah, I don't think so. I think you're just talking absolute nonsense. And this guy on the right here, Papliano, he's changed his image. Papliano, Pomp. He's changed his image. He was very much a degen, a bro. He had a gang around him. He was shouting at the camera. And now, this bull run, he's put a suit on, he's smartened himself up, and he's interviewing people in a podcast, and he's changed his image. So again, not anybody at that table is necessarily believable. Just because you've got a suit and a tie on doesn't make you believable. Now, where are we with Bitcoin? Pretty much where we were not long ago. We can zoom in and have a look at the daily. We can see that the bull market support band is now up at 59. The top of it is about 59.4. That's where the bull market support band is. We have bounced. Let me just get this in vision for you. We have managed to, the previous attempt at getting above this 71.4 has brought us down here a couple of times. But this time, we appear to have held. So is it third time lucky before we do that? I think so. I think this week we've got a bullish move on Bitcoin. I think this week we're going to have another run up. I don't see 62, 63, 64, 65,000 this week. I think we're going to have another move up. The news about Ethereum is going to float the market, especially floating Bitcoin. It does add validation to Bitcoin having Ethereum ETF, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. So on the daily, it's all good. On the weekly, again, it's all good. We're looking very bullish. We've had 2 green weekly candles, and this one will close, or did close, sorry, in the green. This one is the start of the week, and we're just about in the green. So we've had 2 decent green candles after some very bearish red candles. What did we have there? We had 5 out of 6 weeks were red, and now we're on the move back up. So we've had a nice retrace. I think we should start to see a movement up. Everything appears to be more bullish than it was a couple of weeks ago, and I just have a feeling in my water. The poll question of the day, by the way, which I haven't read out yet, is: will we hit 70,000 this week? And believe it or not, 27% so far have said no. Now, we are 2% away from 70,000. 2% away. And you, Debbie Donuts out there, Debbie Downers, you do not think we're going to hit 70,000 when we were at 69 2 days ago. We are not far off 70,000. I think we're going to break 70,000. Then we need to have a run at 71.4. This is the line that we've come to. If you go back, this is the line that we need to break. 71.4. Not saying we're going to do it this week, but I do think we will go. Kabir is the perma bear in chat. How are we going to go to 60,000 right now? What narrative is going to drive us to 60,000? There are some that can come out this week. The jobs report, I believe, is coming out this week. Now, if the jobs report shows that there aren't enough people to fill the jobs, and basically wage inflation is still roaring, then that's going to bring us down. But are we going to be brought down 15%? That's the question. I don't think we are. We've got some huge levels of support here and here. You know, we've got 63, 63.7, 66. We've got some huge levels. You're talking about a 15% correction after we've had the news of the Ethereum being approved. So I don't know. There is a scenario where we can go there. I am not disagreeing with you. But percentage-wise, I think percentage-wise, we're going to rip up. I think we've got an 80% chance of going up and a 20% chance of going down. You can't really work in absolutes because it's impossible. There are no absolutes. They're only estimations. Month-end liquidations of shorts. Do you mean month-end liquidations of longs? Because if we liquidate the shorts, we'll rip up. If we liquidate the longs, we will rip down. And that could happen. But again, I don't know. We need to look at where the prices are, which we will do when I find the report. So Ethereum devs set the Pectra upgrade for Q1 2025. The upgrade will replace the EIP 3074 with EIP 7702, proposed previously by the Ethereum developers, including Vitalik Buterin. So again, Ethereum is not the finished article. There is a roadmap which it's not going to be finished this year or next year. There is, I believe, last time I read, there was something like an 8-year roadmap for Ethereum. An 8-year roadmap. Now, you're never going to get to the end. There's always going to be improvements you can make. Improvements in hardware, improvements in software, improvements in code bases. It's never going to end. But don't think this is... It's not like they're releasing a computer game. This is not Grand Theft Auto, where the release has been pushed back from 25 to 26 to 27. That's different. This is a live ecosystem that they are improving EIP on EIP. So the next major one is Pectra. This came after the Denkum, which was released in March. So Georgios Konstantopoulos, that sounds good enough. They're going to ship it by the end of Q1 2025, so that's March next year. This includes the Peer Dash for rollups to scale, the EOF for improving the EVM and Layer 1 and Layer 2s. So EVM, Ethereum Virtual Machine. It's how people interact with Ethereum. So we're not going to go into the depth. We're just going to go into the brief overview so you know about it. The team has opted against a rushed release before Devon in November 2024, favouring a more cautious approach that allows for the inclusion of additional impactful user features. Now, we don't need to read too much about that. During the deployment of Denkum In January, Ethereum developers encountered difficulties achieving consensus within the expected time frame. The issue was then resolved, allowing for Goerli testnet to finally reach consensus. So we've got the next big upgrade coming, and Ethereum's Osaka upgrade is a future hard fork that is expected to include features that were previously considered for the Pectra upgrade but have been postponed. All of this, if you imagine you've got a birthday list of things that you want for your birthday, and there's 50 things on it, and your family decide on the 10 or 15 most important things to get you for your birthday. That has gone into Pectra. If you've then got other things like new underwear, new socks, new t-shirts, that might go into Osaka. So they can decide which features can be added in, and those features can be independent or have dependency. Maybe they have to do a launch in Pectra to allow for a launch in Osaka. All of these things have to be taken into account. Very, very clever. This is not something I'm going to pretend that I can explain to you, because I simply can't explain most of it. The best I can do is compare it to birthdays and other events. So EIP 7702 is a new transaction type proposed by a group of developers, including Vitalik. Earlier this month, the proposal expected to bring similar benefits to 3074 while addressing potential risks. So although we haven't gone through the actual details, what's important to know is there's a roadmap. And if you've ever watched any of my videos, you will know that the roadmap is one of the most important things that you can have in a project. Because I reviewed a project over the weekend that had no roadmap. And I said at the time, how can you possibly expect somebody to invest in your project if you can't be bothered to explain who the team are, and you can't explain the tokenomics, and you can't provide a roadmap? And this is a very big project that's backed by a very big exchange. There's no roadmap, there's no team, there's no docs team, and you can't. So when you see Ethereum with this huge long roadmap, don't think, oh my word, this is going to take forever to be finished. It's never going to be finished, ever. This is maintenance and improvements. It's Kaizen, it's continual improvements of the system, of the ecosystem, and it will never stop. And they're not just Ethereum. We talk a lot about the Ethereum upgrades, an awful lot. Bitcoin, Solana, Cardano, they've all got upgrades because it has to be maintained. It's like a garden. It needs to be pruned. It needs to be looked after. It can't just be left to grow wild. Now then, Ethereum. Look at that beautiful breakout. We're at 39.15. We are going to hit $4,000 before you can say Vitalik Buterin. Targets haven't changed. 4, 6, and 5. They're the targets we have to get to. I'm going to have to update this chart at some point. This is the weekly. Looks really, really, really bullish. Again, one thing we can do is we can move our bull markets. The top of the bull market support band is coming in at 3.1. Now, we talk a lot about bouncing off the bull market support band, and it's exactly what Ethereum did here, and it rocketed up. Now, we know it was the news about the ETF, we know all of that, but it's still bullish, and it still shows a sign that Ethereum is in a good place, and Ethereum is in a better place than it was. Let's drag that across a bit. It's in a better place than it was a week ago, before the Ethereum ETF news came out. In fact, last Monday, somebody said in chat, what's going to happen with Ethereum? I said, it's going to be rejected. The price will hit $2,400. That's a great time to buy. Next March or April, when it's approved, we will be seeing it moon. It will go to the stars. I can't remember what price I gave for that. And I said that would be the time to buy at $2,500. Joe Biden got on the phone to Gary Gensler and said, listen, Mr. Lizardman, I want you to approve the Ethereum ETF because we need to be seen as being pro-crypto. 50 million Americans, 1 in 7 Americans hold Ethereum and Bitcoin and other major coins. Approve it, it will win us a vote. So here we are, 1 week later, Gary Gensler nodded, blinked his eyes sideways and said, there we go, it's approved. And look where we are now. Almost back to where we were on the 11th of March, which was the recent all-time high. So expect this to be breached probably this week. Expect this to be the next target and the top target up there. All of these could go in the next couple of weeks. All of them. We could be at a $5,000 or $6,000 Ethereum very soon. Do you know how wrapped synthetic Ethereum keeps up with these massive increases in Ethereum? Yes. So, for those of you that don't understand how wrapped versions work, so there is a vault, and let's say you want to bring one Bitcoin from the Bitcoin blockchain to the Ethereum blockchain. One Bitcoin, one actual physical Bitcoin will go into the vault, and a wrapped version of Bitcoin will be minted on the Ethereum blockchain or Solana blockchain or whichever other blockchain you want to think about. So for there to be a wrapped Ethereum, for example, on another blockchain, there has to be a physical Ethereum in a vault. That's how it works. So it's not a case of somebody is spinning plates trying to keep the Ethereum price at the same level as the synthetic version of Ethereum at the same price as Ethereum. That's not how it works. For every one wrapped Bitcoin on the Ethereum blockchain, there is a physical Bitcoin in a vault. That's how it works. Now, you are correct. How does it stay and how does it keep its price? Well, if you're on Ethereum and you see that the wrapped Bitcoin goes to $52,000, you can buy that $52,000 Bitcoin, take it to the vault and unlock it and send it back to your Bitcoin wallet address, and you've made $15,000. So market forces keep the prices similar, not the same. And what you will find is that the wrapped versions do tend to differ by about half or 0.1, 0.2, 0.5% from time to time. That's how that element works. That's different to liquid staking tokens. So BSOL, MSOL, they are liquid staking tokens that you can trade and you can move back and forth on Solana. So you can get liquid Ethereum, for example. Lido issues its own version of ETH, which generates a yield just by holding it. Marinade Sol does the same, Blaze Sol does the same. So you have a liquid staking token where that token is on the same chain. Then you have wrapped versions where Bitcoin might be on the Ethereum chain. But for every one Bitcoin that's in existence on Ethereum, there is a vaulted Bitcoin locked away. And that's how it works. And yes, it could go to zero. But if or not zero, it could go to $1. But I would go out and buy 20 Bitcoin, wrapped Bitcoin, for $20 and then exchange them for 20 real Bitcoin. So it's never going to happen, but the price will never stay exactly the same. So for me, Ethereum, back to the charts. Ethereum's got some very easy targets on the go here. We have got 4,000, 4,600, and 5. And if we go back to the weekly chart, just to give you some ideas, the weekly close of 4,600 is the previous all-time high, and $5,000 is psychological. So they haven't changed, and I am 5 times more bullish on hitting those targets. But we did have this beautiful confluence down here where we had this downward channel. We hit the bull market support band, we bounced, and we've ripped up. So it's all converged beautifully. So yeah, hopefully I explained that for you. Now, the one thing which has had Ben Cowen in tears for the last few days is the chart I'm about to show you. Now, we are clearly nowhere near as big as Ben Cowen. Ben Cowen's got 600,000 followers. But I did agree with Ben. Let's go to the weekly. I did agree with Ben on his narrative. And the reason I agreed with him is his narrative has been right for 2 years, almost. From August 2022 all the way to March 2024, almost 2 years, look at the Bitcoin Ethereum chart. 2 years ago, for 11 ETH, you could buy one Bitcoin. My target was 0.04. Ben's was 0.035 maybe. That meant that for 25 ETH, you could buy one Bitcoin. So all of that value you've lost over 2 years by holding Ethereum instead of holding Bitcoin. Now, there are charts out there where some projects have outperformed. I looked at the Solana Bitcoin chart, and even though Solana has had the mother of all runs, you're still worse off holding Solana now than had you just held Bitcoin for the last 2 years. So irrespective of the ridiculous pump that Solana has, you'd still be down. Now, what's happened is that we've had the breakout because of the Ethereum news for the ETF. So it's not the first time it happened. It happened back here, which was March the 11th, which is what we've looked at before. That was the recent all-time high of $4,000. We are now back above this downward channel. And what is to say we don't move back up to this area here, which is some move, admittedly, and get back towards 0.068. Can we do that? Absolutely. The Ethereum news that broke was the first step. There's 3 or 4 steps. This has been approved. The S1 needs to be approved, which I think is the final paper that's handed in. The the staking element has been removed from the ETF. It should never have been there in the first place. That's been removed. Now we're at a situation where we know the SEC are going to approve it. The question is now when. Some people are saying June. I think that's really soon. With this, it's the 27th of May. You know, Friday or Saturday this week is the 1st of June. So we don't have a lot of time. Remember when the Bitcoin ETF was approved, didn't it take 2 or 3 weeks before it went live? So if you add from the 1st of June, 3 weeks, that's the 22nd, 21st of June. The earliest probably it can go live, and that's from the forms being submitted. I think we're going to be, and it wouldn't surprise me if Joe Biden told Gary Gensler to approve it for the 4th of July. And if the 4th of July falls on a weekday, that's when I think it's going to go live. And I can't see why, because they always like to use these kind of special dates. You know, look at what happened in, I can't mention names, when they left a certain country. They left on the anniversary of something, which was a ridiculous thing to do. They're going to do the same thing with this. I think the 4th of July. If I was going to put a bet on a date, it would be that date. Now, when that happens, I think we're going to see a breakout from here, and I see this. Now, I mentioned before we had this news that holding Bitcoin was the best thing to do. And when we get down here, my strategy would be, if you can get 25 Ethereum for 1 Bitcoin, that's a good transaction. We're not going to see that anymore. That's gone. This, oops, 1 second. This is gone. We're not going to see that anymore. So what could we see? Well, at the minute, we're looking at 19 Ethereum per Bitcoin. And if we move up to this level here, which is there, that would give us 13, 14 maybe. Let's call it 14 Ethereum to buy 1 Bitcoin. So that would be the goal for me. This level here, which is 0.068. And it matters because the long-term goal for you should be to build up your Satoshis. That should be your long-term goal, because that is always going to be the gold standard. No matter what people say about the flippening, about everything else, Bitcoin is always going to be the number one. There's nothing in the world remotely close to Bitcoin in terms of a cryptocurrency and its market cap. So you should always think about, I'm sitting on 30 Ethereum today. You can spend 19 to buy 1 Bitcoin, or you can wait maybe a month, and you can buy one Bitcoin for 14 Ethereum. Which one are you going to do? You're going to wait until it's worth 14, and that's what I think is going to propel Bitcoin even higher, because I have a fair old stash of Ethereum, and I would quite happily swap 13 Ethereum for one Bitcoin. That's a great price. So this breakout is probably going to go somewhere like this, but remember, Bitcoin has its ETF and it's running. Ethereum hasn't even started the race yet. It's on the track, it's warming up, people are buying into it because they're expecting it to go. The question is, where then does it top out? It's not going to go up exponentially and suddenly it's going to go to parity. That's never going to happen. So you have to find a price where Ethereum has got to in the past against Bitcoin, and what you would accept for your Bitcoin, because that should be your goal. You should have a goal of buying one Bitcoin. That is the goal. Then after that, you should want to hold 10, 20, 30 different, Ethereum, whatever. Then your Solana. If you've got enough Ethereum to be buying Bitcoin, you should be looking for where Ethereum tops out against Bitcoin, because it is going to move up. But even in these moves up, it stays there for a while and then it retraces. I mean, we were all the way down here over there. I think over the next couple of weeks, we're going to see 0.065, maybe even 0.07. And that's when I would look to convert some of my Ethereum back into Bitcoin. And it is going to rip up, and great, but it's also going to affect Bitcoin dominance. We've talked about Bitcoin dominance going to 60%. Is it going to get there now? Because with Bitcoin dominance, is it BTC.D? There we go. I think it might be this one. So Bitcoin dominance since November 2022 has been moving up. We're at 53.88%. This is my target of 60%. That's what I think we're going to get to. That gets there at the beginning of next year, 60% Bitcoin dominance. Now, with Ethereum doing what it's done, look what's happened to Bitcoin dominance. Believe it or not, it's retraced just a touch, but it's only retraced to the line. So Bitcoin dominance is going up here. Ethereum news comes out, crack. So we've gone from 56 back down to 53.8. I don't think we need to worry too much about Bitcoin dominance moving up. So if the Ethereum price is going to rocket and Bitcoin dominance is going to rocket, what is going to happen to the alts? And that's what we're going to get onto when we talk about the alt season in a minute. Bitcoin dominance can't go up with the Ethereum price skyrocketing without the alts being hammered. And by hammered, I mean if Bitcoin goes up 10% or 15% and Ethereum goes up 20%, that doesn't mean that Solana is going to go down 20%. It means it's only going to go up by less. XRP is only going to go up by less. So against the US dollar, the alts are probably going to go up, but I don't know if they're going to outperform Ethereum. What's going to outperform Ethereum in the next month or two? Probably the Ethereum layer 2s and Ethereum projects. What else? That's the thing you've got to ask yourself. Is it safe to hold wrapped Ethereum on an exchange? Yes. How do I convert wrapped Ethereum to Ethereum? I would do it through your exchange. I wouldn't bother trying to do it through the vault. I wouldn't even attempt it. It's like if you've got USDT or USDC, you could send it to Tether or Circle. They would convert it to dollars for you and send you the dollars. But what's the point? Just take it to your exchange and draw it down to your bank. These tools are available, but you don't necessarily need to use them. They're more there to be the tool. Right then, very quickly before we go on to the alt season. What time is it? 11:49. Oh, we're nowhere near finished. We are nowhere near finished. Let's have a look. Now, Ondo. All hail Ondo, RWA King, Real World Asset King, top trader predicts 235 price target. Right, first of all, this isn't my favorite Real World Asset token at all. There are far more established. Good morning, Tariq. There are far more established coins than this. You know, I like Link, we talk about a lot. I like ICP, which we've got some of. What else have we got that's in that range or in that category? Think off the top of my head. There was one other coin I was thinking of the other day. Anyway, there's a few. It's not the king. It's had the best performance. And again, I want to go through this and I want to temper it. And I have got the chart for Ondo to go through. Now, top trader predicts $2.35. Well, $2.35 is neither here nor there for this token. It's not going to go to $2.35. It's going to absolutely rip. That's what it's going to do. But it's not going to rip today or tomorrow. And that's what I was saying before about the price. Trying to come back to $1. So it's gone up 13% to $1.22. Lots of people are seeing upward price movements, 135, 185, 235. Ondo Finance integration with the BlackRock Build Fund and rising TVL points towards continued growth. So this is the coin to hold outside of Chainlink, ICP, and the others. This is the coin. And you want to get this coin at the best price. And that's the key. Now, I haven't been sleeping on this coin because I can't own every coin. The same way that you guys can't own every coin. You have to pick and choose. If I had a choice for the bull run, for real world assets, it's Chainlink. End of story. Biggest oracle, most integration, number one. Ondo is in the top 3 or 4 coins I would hold for real world assets. It's with BlackRock. That's all you need to know. It's with BlackRock. Everything else is irrelevant. So, why do these people have names? Let's call him Jules. Jules shone a spotlight on Ondo, branding it as the leading champion of real-world assets. With his keen insights, Jules positioned Ondo as a standout performer of the ever-evolving crypto market. If you are a holder and want to have an objective plan for your take-profit strategy, use the Fib levels in my chart. As long as we stay in price discovery, those should be targets. He didn't stop there. He urged investors to consider using the Fib levels in their trading strategies. I totally agree with this, by the way. He emphasized the need for a solid support level. His ambitious price targets are those, very decent targets. But in the bull run, you want to have a price for Ondo. On the market cap side, where is it going to go? Market cap side, market cap size, and then where would you be selling out of it? Now, let's keep going further down. Okay, we don't need to read too much about this. For those of you who don't know about Ondo, I sincerely wish you would go and have a look at it. I'm going to show you the price because there is a warning that comes with this token, and that is some tokens can burn too much and they can go up too quickly and it can cause issues. Now, was this the chart that I was looking at yesterday? It must be, but I've not got my Fib levels on it. Right, okay. So, what I would strongly recommend is one of two things is going to happen. We've either missed this coin, at which point it's not a problem. You can go and find another coin, or it's going to retrace. Now, on the daily, the RSI is a bit high and it needs to come down. Now, I said to you before, I want to buy Ondo at $1. So what I want to see, and that doesn't mean it's going to happen, is I want to see this. Okay? Because when you see this kind of price action, from 71 cents, it went all the way up to 132. So it nearly doubled in 11 days in value. That's an unhealthy rise. Now, if we do this, and I was doing this today on another chart, one day I will learn how to use these tools, but that day is not today. Okay, does that look familiar? So the price has carried out an exact move that it carried out here, which was in March. It's done exactly the same thing 2 months later. Is that a coincidence? I don't think so. Now, what happened to the price there? We got up here, and then we wobbled, we came down a bit, and then we went up. So if we replicate that, and again, this is just a pattern, it doesn't mean it's going to happen, can't predict the future, but if that happens, and we do have this kind of retracement to here, that would indicate that the coin is going to do this. That would bring it back to $1, and that's where I'm going to buy this token. And I'm not going to buy a lot, maybe I'm going to buy 100, something like that. But it doesn't mean it's going to happen. It's the scenario I want to play out. The RSI, it's overbought. If the RSI is overbought, that normally means it's going to come down, and we're going to see this kind of movement. Let me just get that in vision for you, right? So what happened is it came up, it was overbought, and then it came down. This has done it twice, and now we need to see it coming down. So I think we're going to see a similar move. The problem is the Ethereum news is going to cause this to rip, I think. And maybe Jules is right. Maybe we're going to absolutely tear to the upside. $1.89. What's this one up here? $3. I mean, you could see these prices. The market cap of Ondo is exceptionally low. Let's go and have a look. I think it's about $1 billion, $1.5 billion, something like that. Let me have a look. It's at 1.7 billion, the market cap of Ondo. So Ondo is going to be the project that is going to propel BlackRock's real-world asset tokenization forward. Could this become a $15 billion project? Yes, it could. There's no definites. That would 9x it. That would put it at $10. Now, I am not saying it's going to happen today or tomorrow. What I'm saying is that we need to find as much value in this token as possible. That's why I would love to see it come back to $1, because I was watching this chart as the ETF news came out, and that's when it broke the dollar. It was at 91 cents, 93, 94, and we've mentioned this project on here in the past, and I've said it's a, build is the big thing, especially if BlackRock have got behind it. So for me, I think I don't want to buy it at this price. I think I'm going to wait for the retracement. I'm going to wait for this to come down here and then the next run up. And that would indicate that kind of move for me. So to $1, I will buy Ondo. And that's going to be probably my trade of June, end of July, depending on how we want to look at it. That's my trade. Now then, we are severely running out of time. Now remember my trade I don't know if it was the beginning of this month, my trade was near, and I was buying near at $5.80, $5.90 and $6. And now we're at nearly $8. So we are up, what are we up? 30% on that trade, which isn't bad. But again, I'm not a day trader. I'm going to buy tokens, maybe one a month, of projects that I think are going to rip. And it doesn't mean I'm going to hold near. I've got it staked and it's paying 10% APR. I might, if Near Protocol rips to $20, I'm selling half of my bag. That's just how it works. With Ondo, again, I'm not expecting it to go to $10 tomorrow. I'm not expecting it to rip up anytime soon. But it will be a project to hold, maybe for the entire bull market. Now then, Cardano founder says here is when alt season officially starts. Now remember what I've just said. If the price of Bitcoin keeps shooting up and Ethereum goes on a tear, those two things are going to cause both of their dominance to go up. That means that in general, the entire rest of the crypto market is going to underperform against Bitcoin and Ethereum over the next, I don't know, 4, 8, 12 weeks. We have the Ethereum ETF, we have the Bitcoin ETF. Ethereum is going to fuel Bitcoin. Both of them, the narratives are going to surge. Maybe we see an $80,000, $90,000 Bitcoin. Maybe we see the $6,000 to $7,000 Ethereum. If those two things happen, where is the performance for Solana and AVAX and Link and ICP? Where's that performance going to come from? They are going to go up, but are they going to outperform Bitcoin and Ethereum? So let's see what Charles. You won't. I mean, can you believe this man is like, what, 30 years of age? He looks as old as me, and I'm 20 years older than him. Right then. So Cardano founder Charles has declared that the alt season will emerge when Doge flips ADA. I like that. I didn't read this article, by the way, before the stream. So let's go and see what he's talking about. So Doge is at 24 billion and Cardano is at 16 billion. And he's just said, alt season will finally emerge when Doge flips ADA. Now I'm confused. This is the 5th of March. This is 2 months ago. I think Doge flipped ADA months ago. Right, you know what? We're going to bin this off because it's 12 o'clock. I thought this was a new article. It clearly isn't. Right, so this is kind of to give you an idea of what ETFs look like, to explain why we are not necessarily not going to see other ETFs. So let me bring these up for you. Doge has a major valuation problem, especially with it having an infinite supply. Doge, in my opinion, is an S coin, and that rhymes with hit. It's an S coin. It's garbage. I hold one Dogecoin. I think I've said this before on the channel. Okay, now this is incredibly bright, so I'm going to try and zoom in a little bit. Now, there's two lots of charts on here, and I'm not going to go into too much depth on them. So, this is the commodities ETFs, and this is about if we were to get a Solana or an XRP or a Cardano ETF, where would they rank against other ETFs, right? Commodities, not anything else, just commodities, because the Commodities Commission are probably going to take over from the SEC at some point in the future. So, if we look at the ETFs, the top ETF, 64.5 billion, is State Street Global Advisors Gold Trust. That's got 64.5 billion in it. Now remember, that only holds a fraction of that asset. So bear in mind, we shouldn't be comparing market caps with these. That's first thing. Now, so we've got 64 billion. The next one is 7.5, 5.2, 3.2 billion. And these are the gold ETFs. These are the biggest ones. Further down, I think we've got some others. We've got silver down here. We've got oil, 1.4 billion, 1.27 billion, 1.1 billion. So you can see the point here. We're looking at ETFs. These are the top commodity ETFs. And we are talking about 1.1, 1, 1.2. And that's just to be on the first page. Now, this is the Bitcoin ETF chart. Grayscale comes in at 20. BlackRock comes in at 19 and Fidelity comes in at 11. So 20, 19 and 11 would put that second, third and fourth on this list. Now, hypothetically speaking, let's say, for argument's sake, that 10% of Solana, 10% of XRP, 10% of Cardano is in a single ETF. So Solana is coming in at 74 billion. So that would give an ETF 7.4 billion. That would put it second, third on this list. XRP, 2.9 billion. It would put it 5th on this list. Even Cardano, 1.6 billion. It would put it here, probably in the top 10. So when we talk about ETFs, and when we're talking about the fact that their market caps are not high enough, they're absolutely high enough. Anything over about, let's go on to another page. Let's just go to page number 2. 600 million, 900 million. Let's go down to page 5, for argument's sake. If this would just load, or maybe it's not going to bother loading, who knows. There we go. Okay, so ETFs, 100, 125, 122, 97, 95 million dollars. These are ETFs. Now, they're not very large ETFs, but they're ETFs all the same. So when we're saying, and I'm guilty of this, when are too many ETFs, we're looking here at tens and tens and tens of oils, metals, golds, silvers, ETFs. We've got, I don't even know how many are on this list, but let's say there's 500. There's 500 ETFs that probably cover 7 or 8 different assets. So if we had a similar situation for crypto, yes, we'd have Bitcoin. Yes, we'd have Ethereum. Yes, we'd have Solana. Yes, we might have Cardano. Yes, we might have AVAX, Chainlink, Litecoin. We would have maybe 10 different cryptocurrencies with maybe 10 different issuers. So that would give us 100 ETFs for our market, and that would change crypto forever. Absolutely would. So expect to see huge pushes by BlackRock and Fidelity for this to happen. And that's kind of where it's important to look at and compare. You should always treat crypto like traditional businesses, traditional projects, and you can always find reference points. Maybe Ethereum and Solana are not classified as commodities, and maybe it's only Litecoin and Bitcoin and maybe 3 or 4 others that are. But even those 3 or 4 others that are, they're still going to be in the top 20 ETFs that exist today, and that's going up against gold, going up against silver, going up against oil. They are still huge. And again, Bitcoin is the 8th biggest asset in the world. Gold is number 1 by a mile. Then you've got Nvidia and people like Apple and whatever. Silver was, I think, 9th. Bitcoin is 8th, or it was when last time I checked. So we have plenty of room for more ETFs to come in, not just 1 or 2. Can the Ethereum ETF be cancelled if it's found to be a security instead of a commodity? No, I don't think so, because the political pressure is coming from the government in America. So it doesn't matter what the SEC say, they've got to approve it. And if that takes us to Trump coming in, Trump is going to come in and he is going to have all the political might and will in the world to pass every ETF. What does an ETF bring? Investment, taxes, jobs, money, growth, everything. He sees this potentially as a $50 to $100 trillion asset class. If America takes 1 or 2% of that in terms of taxes and everything else, then it's a massive boost to the economy. Why do you think the UK are bending over to bring in all of these American companies? Because they know as well it's a massive industry. So all we have to do is survive from today to February. Now, if it gets rejected, like you say, because it's classified as a security, we've only got to wait till next March, because we're going to have a new president. And you know what Trump is like? He's going to come in and say, I don't care what you decide to call it. It's going to be an ETF. That's what he's going to say, because he doesn't do minutiae detail. He doesn't give a monkey's what you think. or what I think, or what the SEC says, he'd scrap the SEC if he could, because he doesn't want regulations. He wants companies to make money so they can be taxed, so then he can spend that tax money on what he wants. So expect potentially 10, 15 ETFs. And remember, we're talking about the market caps of crypto today. We're not talking about the market caps of crypto. If we're at a $10 billion asset class, that's 4x on average across the board. So we would be looking at a $300 billion Solana. We would be looking at a $70 billion Cardano. These things are not all going to happen because some assets are going to outperform others. XRP wins the court case and suddenly becomes a $200 billion asset. That would give us a $4, $3.50 XRP. Can it happen? Yes. Will it happen? Again, it's percentages. I can't say yes or no. I can say there's probably an 80% chance that XRP goes to 200 billion. There's probably a 30% chance that Cardano goes to 200 billion. Because look at where the coin is, look at the performance, look at the macro around it. The macro around XRP is a lot better than it is around Cardano. I like Cardano, I like XRP, I like them both. I also like Avalanche. But some of these are going to outperform others. Avalanche could 10x. Cardano could 3x. Again, we can't predict. We can only go off averages. We can only go off if the entire industry goes up by 4x. Again, if we just take it as we see it, then Bitcoin is going to go to $250,000. Is Ethereum just going to keep pace given we've got the news now? I said $8,000 to $10,000 for Ethereum without an ETF. I think we could be looking at $12,000 to $16,000 with an ETF. And I could be completely wrong. We could go to $16,000, $18,000, $20,000. I could be wrong, but I'm trying to be realistic, and that's the hard part. And that's the end of the show. It is a bank holiday weekend. I don't know if it's a bank holiday weekend wherever you are, but I hope you have a good afternoon, a good day. I am going to screenshot what Kabir said before, which is PopCat airdrop. I'm going to go and have a look at it. I'm going to see if it's legitimate, and then I'm going to make a video about it if it is, because I don't want to do any research today. I'm tired, and it's a bank holiday weekend, so I'll be drinking sangria and eating barbecue later on. Bitcoin, I don't know if America has a bank holiday today or not, but if it does, Bitcoin's going to range. If it doesn't and the market's open, we could be 69.5, 69.6 this time in 8 hours time. So I don't know, I haven't checked that out, but I am back tomorrow. I don't know if there is going to be a trading stream tonight because it is a bank holiday. I don't know if Brogan's going to be worse for wear tonight. So if that's the case, I am back tomorrow 11 o'clock. Make sure to smash the like button. Make sure to give us a follow. You know where we are. We're Crypto Warehouse. We exist in other parts of the internet. Go to Google and type in Crypto Warehouse. Go and find us. And if we don't see you tonight, I will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock for the stream. And have a great bank holiday weekend. Thank you to the usual people in chat. Solo Sky. Thank you to JC, Kabir, Tariq is here. Thank you to you all. Diabliski, Mags, thank you all. I'll see you all tomorrow. Have a great day.